Hello, everyone. Welcome to How to Make LinkedIn Work for You Without Feeling Like It Is a Second Job. My name is Deborah, and I am here with Helen. Hello, Helen.
Hi everyone, good to see you again.
Yes. Now, this is like what is this, like our fifth or sixth LinkedIn Live?
I think it's our fifth. Yeah, I think
Our
it's our fifth.
fifth, right? So Helen and I, we met on LinkedIn. This is the power of this platform. We met on LinkedIn and we just connected, and I liked her work and she liked my work. And then we said, let's do this. So this platform is an amazing, amazing platform, and there's so much power here. So welcome.
Yeah,
Okay, so we are going to introduce ourselves before we get started. My name is Deborah Brown-Volkman. I am a certified career coach. I am a career reinvention expert. I am a career goals advisor to executives in Fortune 500 companies. I am a published author of 8 books, and I'm a LinkedIn new job search strategist. And my LinkedIn superpower is helping you, the job seeker, get noticed by recruiters and hiring managers in this very brutal and competitive job market.
that's amazing, Deborah. And I can say Deborah is super, super amazing. For me, I'm a social media manager and I do done for you LinkedIn services. I help you show up your personal brand here in LinkedIn by writing, creating videos, and showing up in a way that you attract clients and create opportunities for yourself. So that's what I like to help people with, like show up as their authentic self here in LinkedIn.
Yes, and I think you do a great job.
Thank you.
I think we both think we do a good job. We have a
We-
mutual we're mutual fans, right?
We're always praising each other.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. So, why are we here today, right? LinkedIn, I mean, let's be completely honest. LinkedIn can be a lot. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes effort. It's grindy. You're here day after day after day, and you're posting, and putting your heart out. And it can be overwhelming and it can be stressful. And Helen and I both understand that. What we've come to recognize, at least what I've come to recognize, is you are your brand, but you're also your content team. You are responsible for coming up with content ideas, for writing, for editing, for posting. And that's just one piece. There's a whole other piece where you are then commenting on other people's posts and you are in the DM. So you really, to be successful here, you do have to spend time here, but you don't want it to get to a point where it completely takes over. And that's why Helen and I are here today, because we spend a tremendous amount of time on this platform, and we want to help you be less stressed and less overwhelmed. We want to make it easier for you. So as always, if you are one of our regular LinkedIn Live watchers, we have a couple of points. We have 3 points. And then we're going to go through them. We're also going to take your questions. You can put them in the chat. And if you're listening to this via replay afterwards, please put in comments, because we do go back, we do watch, we do listen, and we will get back to you. So the consistency is the most important piece of being here on LinkedIn. It's nothing new. If you want something that's important to you, you have to show up, and you have to show up on a regular basis. So what are some of the reasons why people aren't consistent? And I think the top reason is imposter syndrome. And we all have imposter syndrome. No one is immune from fear or doubt, or their confidence is a little bit lower. And so you're not alone if you feel that way. And there is a vulnerability piece and a judgment piece. And we wonder, what if I say the wrong thing? What happens if I go viral? How will I handle that? What, everybody else is doing better than me. You start to compare yourself to other people, and what if I get trolled? And all of that is part of putting yourself out there in a vulnerable way. And what I do like about LinkedIn is there's a safety piece. I do think it's a safe platform. There's not a tremendous amount of trolling here, I think, because a lot of what we do is very positive, and people resonate with that. But fear is normal. We all have fear. And just like every other area of your career or your business, you just don't want to let it stop you.
That's true. I totally agree with you. And I think imposter syndrome is definitely something that is always going to be there. And like fears are always going to be there. So either you know growing and probably you're in a better phase now, but your imposter syndrome always comes on, and like you start to feel bad about it, and you start to feel like a lot of things, like what are people gonna think, what are my colleagues gonna think, right? And I think when I first started, and if you are at this point, like you're starting and you have, like, I don't know, I had 200 connections when I first started, and everyone was just like people I knew. They were people, from my work, or from people who I studied together, and all my questions were like, what are they gonna think, what are they gonna think? And then I really decided, like, hey, I need to stop thinking what are they gonna think, and think what am I, what do I think? I want to do this for myself, not for these other people. And at the end of the day, you also need to realize, like, okay, if these people are saying bad comments about the things that you're doing, maybe they're not your friends. Maybe you can step aside these people, because if they don't support you, they're not really your friends. And I think that's one of the things about imposter syndrome, because like I used to think a lot of these things. And for me, I get people always, colleagues, friends, they tell me like, hey, I see you on LinkedIn. I really like what you're doing. I got a message, like, I think last month, for someone who was asking me, like, we used to work together, and she was like, I really want to know how you get clients on LinkedIn. Can you teach me, like, give me your tips? Can we get on a call? So instead of thinking all of these, bad things that go through our minds, because it's impossible not to think them, we need to learn how to reframe them. And like, okay, people are gonna think, bad things that I'm doing, like I'm crazy, I'm an, all of these things. Try to say, like, people can come to me asking for questions. People can be interested in what I'm doing, and starting, and then like getting those kind of messages, you want to keep going. Because for me now, I feel like I have built my personal brand, and I want to keep doing it. And even if these imposter syndromes come, and like I get these fears that they always come, even to this day, I always remind myself, I made a friend with Deborah. She invited me to this live. The other time, like, LinkedIn invited me to this workshop. And like when I see these opportunities, or maybe they're not coming for a while, but when you see all of the things that you have achieved, this is how you get all past these imposter syndromes and like these fears and everything. You just need to remind yourself, like, hey, this happens, but like good things are coming as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm.
LinkedIn is like anything in the beginning is hard. It's hard, it's daunting, it's confusing, it's uncertain, and you're putting yourself out there in a bigger way, in a bigger platform, and people are reading it. So I really want to acknowledge all of you, because it's a very big deal. I feel imposter syndrome all the time. I'm doing videos.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't do well. I can have a video that'll get 6 million views, and I can get a video that gets like 200 views. So it really makes me question myself. Am I doing the right thing? Do people even care about what I have to say? So I try to push all of that aside, because if I focused on that, it went up and went down, I wouldn't get out of bed every day.
Yeah.
I would stop. I think I would have stopped. And in the beginning, I only had like 25 views on a video, and it was a part of me that said maybe I should stop, but I didn't. And I didn't because I focused on my why. I focused on what I really wanted to accomplish. I wanted to put myself out there. I wanted to make videos. I wanted to make an impact, and I knew that LinkedIn was the place to do it. So when I ever questioned, does this really matter? I know that it does. Like I feel it in my heart and my soul, and then that's what keeps me going.
I love that. I love that. I think we have a question. Maybe we can answer it quickly.
Sure.
It says, can you explain the definition of a troll in this context? So I don't know if you want to take that one because you use that word.
I did. Well, there are people out there and who make it their mission to try to comment poorly on other people's posts. Now, I mean, you and I, we're not big time creators where people are trying to take us down. Sometimes someone's having a hard day, and they'll have a comment where they'll curse or who cares, that I just recognize that someone's being triggered. But there are people out there that that's what they do, and they go and they try to bring people down. They try to humble people, and I always say, focus on the fans. Don't focus on the haters. And if you can say whatever, even a troll, even that, it helps. It helps the algorithm, because for me, the more comments and the more posts, the more viral my video will go. So to all the trolls, you can troll me any day that you want.
I love that.
Yes, right? Right? What
Yeah.
did they say? I'm old school. They used to say that no, bad press is good press.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I think, as they say, like if there comes people who are going to start putting bad messages, maybe you're doing something good, right? Because there's always a lot of type of people who want to say something good, people who might comment something controversial on your post. The important thing is like you don't let this thing discourage you at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, if I post something and you don't like it, and you have such a strong reaction, I have a pretty good feeling that it's not me, that there's something going on with
Mhm.
you. And I will send you love. I will send you good wishes. I will say whatever's happening to you. I hope that you have a better day. Yeah, better day.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go on to point number two, which is a redefinition of what consistency means. So there's so many different viewpoints about being consistent, but I believe that you don't have to be on LinkedIn 24/7. I do see people that post daily. I used to post daily, and I stopped because I just couldn't do it. It was too much. Social media runs 24/7. So if it would burn you out, and it burned me out. And I realized that I just needed a different way, and I needed a different approach. So now I post 3 to 4 days a week, sometimes three, sometimes four. If I have more to say, I will go to five. I haven't really seen a difference. It could be because I put my time in on LinkedIn. I used to post 7 days a week, but I don't recommend that. I've actually seen content creators come and go. Some of them have posted twice a day. Someone will say, I'm going to be here and I'm going to post twice a day, and they don't last long because it's too much. It's like slow and steady wins the race. The goal for you is to do what works right for you. So if that means posting 1 day a week, but it's a really good post and you're proud of your post, that's enough. If you want to post every day, then post every day. But if you're going to post, it has to be your post. Helen and I always talk about AI. We did a conversation about this in our last live. I don't like AI for writing posts. I just don't. I know that people like them because it helps and you put it out there. But in order to really build and grow, you have to be authentic. And AI can't be authentic for you. It just can't. So yes, you can check a little box and say, "Oh, I wrote a post," but it's not your post. People know it's not your post. You're not going to grow. You're not going to. People aren't going to share what you did. So you're better off just doing one post if that's enough for you, or two posts, whatever it is, and just do what feels right for you.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think, Deborah, in my opinion, I also started posting 4 times a week, not seven, but four. And it does, to a point, burn you out because it came to a point for me that I was handling, other people's accounts. And then I was like trying to keep up with everything. So I needed to find what worked for me and like redefine that term of consistency, right? Because we see as consistency like, okay, I need to post every single day. But sometimes I think consistency for me now, it means I get to post at least in a week, like 1 time, 2 times. I like to post sometimes 3 posts, 2 posts, but like every time in a week I'm posting. And consistency means also like you're not giving up. Maybe you're feeling like it's being too much for you right now. Maybe you're like you cannot handle it. It does feel like a second job. We have been saying this, like
Mhm.
LinkedIn is kind of a second job because it's not really just about posting. Because if you just post and like not enter the platform, and you're not engaging, you're not commenting, you're not talking with people, then your profile is just gonna be there, but it's not gonna drive people, it's not gonna drive opportunities if you're not sitting or like blocking a time and like doing that kind of work that is the engagement. So I think if you're not posting, but maybe you're connecting with people, maybe you're making conversations, that is another way that you are also showing up and like being consistent. Like being consistent is just making sure like you're not throwing in the towel, right? Like I'm gonna show up at least one time a week or two times a week in there, and like I'm gonna make sure I'm supporting people and showing up in any way that I can. For me, that is consistency, because it does come to a point that sometimes it can burn you out. However, I do want to say that I don't know what you think, Deborah, but I'm a firm believer that if you're first starting out in LinkedIn, you do need to put in the work in
Mhm.
like making sure you have a plan and you're going to be posting 4 times a week, 5 times a week, maybe Monday to Friday. That's how creators I see like to start when they're starting out. Because if you just start like with one post, two posts, maybe you're gonna get some traction. But if you're here to grow and you're here to build your personal brand and you're starting from zero, you do have to put in the work. And maybe when the time passes, you can say like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit tired, like I'm burning out, I still want to show up because LinkedIn is the platform that I choose. And for me it's the same thing, right? Like I chose this platform, maybe I cannot do it as often as I was doing it, but I still want to do it. But I already did that work for a whole year, right? I was posting, I was being consistent, I was making conversations, trying to get clients and opportunities for myself. So at the beginning you do have to make the work, and I do have to say that. So at the beginning make the effort, and then maybe you say, okay, maybe now I'm posting 2 times a week and 3 times a week. And the important thing is like you deliver value. That's if you're going to post one time, but that post is giving value to people, matters even more.
That's right. It matters even more. And you said
Mhm.
something really important. You said choose. If you choose to be here, there's so many different social media platforms.
Mhm.
Choose the one that you enjoy. I like LinkedIn. I enjoy LinkedIn. I also like TikTok. Some people don't like TikTok. Some people like X. Some people like
Mhm.
Threads. Some people like Instagram. So it should never be a should. You don't want to be on LinkedIn because someone said that you should be. It's because you want to be. But the thing about LinkedIn is it is more of a writing. It is more of an intellectual. So there is more writing. So at this point, I'm just going back for AI for a moment. If using AI to write your post, everybody knows it at this point. So yeah, so maybe if writing is not your thing, maybe LinkedIn is not your thing. Maybe you like videos. I do
Mhm.
videos. I like videos. Maybe you like to write something smaller, maybe something like Threads or X. So you want to ask yourself, who am I? What social media platforms do I enjoy? And how do I interact on social media? That's the platforms you choose. You never ever want to choose a social media platform from a place of a should, because it will not work.
Yeah, I definitely have to say that one of the things that has helped me be consistent on LinkedIn or like show up every day and bring opportunities is because like I had work on other platforms before, and like I realized I really didn't like Facebook, I really didn't like Instagram, for my personal brand. And I chose LinkedIn. And maybe if you're here, you're probably like LinkedIn, right? Like the rest of us, because it's a really supportive platform. But if you find that like you like more TikTok or you like more Instagram, then you can practice all of these same things there, because like maybe those imposter syndromes or like those fears are not going to show up, or you know how to beat them and like get past them because you chose that platform and you feel good in that platform, and you're always updated with the trends and with the things that are happening, rather than like you picking 5 platforms and then you're trying to keep up with so many things and like what's happening here, what's happening there, and then you just feel like the burnout. And there is a lot of noise with AI and everything, so we do have to be careful. And as Deborah says, in LinkedIn, like now people know, like because a lot of people are using it, now people know if you're creating content on AI. And we have a lot of lives out there that we talk about how to create content, without losing your voice with AI. So you can definitely check those out. We're gonna put it in the comments, I think, Deborah.
Yes, yes, because you and I have done quite a number of lives together.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So, we do. That's like our topic. The topic that gets us all riled up is AI.
Yeah.
Right? We do. Like, oh,
That's
let's talk
good.
about AI. All right, so let's go to point number 3, which is actionable ways to engage without burning out of overextending, right? So what can you do? Again, LinkedIn is time consuming. Don't let anybody tell you it's not time consuming. Don't let anybody tell you could spend 10 minutes a day on the platform and be successful here. It does not work. If you want something to work, you have to put in the work. That's okay. Choose LinkedIn. This is my platform. I'm going to spend an hour a day and I'm going to be focused, and this is my plan. So the way that you are successful here is through structure and routine. So I block off certain times of the day and the week to be on LinkedIn, definitely Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sometimes a Tuesday or a Thursday, depends if I have things that I really want to share with people. And I stick to those times. And a routine, it helps me stay focused. I post the same time every day. I post at 6 a.m. every single day. I like it. I'm up early. You know when to find me. I write posts in one sitting. If I do videos, I go out there and I schedule. I'll schedule time to record the videos, but I will do 3 videos at a time, 4 videos at a time. So you'll see, because my shtick is I like to go outside. I like to be in nature. I like to wear a dress, put a little lipstick on. So you'll see my videos. Well, I'll wear the same dress for 3 or 4 videos. I cannot fathom having to go inside and outside to change a dress for every video. I already have enough dresses. Right. So, I write my posts in one sitting. I record things in one sitting. I use drafts and notes because I believe that as content creators, we are the messengers, and that ideas come to us all the time. Ideas come all the time. Sometimes I'm driving in the car. I'll have to pull over, have an idea. I have an idea in the shower. I have an idea when I'm working out. I capture ideas in the moment. Otherwise, they're gone. So I capture everything together. I do some writing together. I do posting. I'll post. LinkedIn has a scheduling. I'll post a few posts for the week. Everything like kind of helps me. And then once I'm done with that, then I have a certain amount of time that I do for commenting. I do want to say something about commenting because even though I post every day at 6 a.m., people post at different times. But I do, and I like to comment on other people. So I do find I have my 6 a.m. creators, and then people comment at 7 a.m. and people comment at 8 a.m. I find most people comment towards the top of the hour. So I check in the morning. So at 7 a.m., I'll go in and comment. 8 o'clock, I'll go in. 9 o'clock. And then I take a little bit of a break, and then I'll go in like maybe 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. So I am jumping on and off, but I'm not sitting there scrolling the whole time. And then sometimes I'll look for other creators, but I'm not on LinkedIn all day. But when I'm in, I'm in. And when I'm not in, I'm not.
I love that. I love that. I think I have kind of the same tips as well. For me, I really like blocking like times. For me, I like to post at 8:45 and then I'm like at 9:30 they're like commenting, engaging, answering comments. I think a lot of people are on LinkedIn like doing that in the mornings. I have noticed too. I think like from what you say, you also notice like the morning is when people like to engage. So I guess that's a tip, right? If you want to get started, like the mornings are probably the best time to schedule your posts and like do your commenting because that is when people are on. And I do like to, as well, I sit and I start seeing like what's on the feed. I start supporting some people here and there. um I did like to, for me it's kind of a routine, so I do like to think like, okay, at 9:30 I'm gonna be on the computer and I'm gonna get on LinkedIn and kind of like that. But as well, I try not to be hard on myself because I used to do that. Like if one day I did not sit and I did not do it, then I felt bad with me. If I didn't post that day, I felt bad as well. So there is where your imposter syndromes and your fears and all of things in your head they start coming up again. So I think it's a lot about being so kind to yourself because if one day you cannot make it, that's totally okay. You don't have to be hard on yourself. Like things happen. Like sometimes the day you're busy, sometimes like you cannot do it, you feel bad or something like that. So don't stress over that. Like let it go day by day and find something that works for you. I
Yes.
always say this to, to myself, to my clients, to everyone I talk to. Find something that works for you. If 7 times a day posting was for you, then that's okay. If that now you can only do three, that's also okay. If you're constantly finding what works for you, that's how you're gonna keep consistent, and that's how we redefine consistent, and like find how you cannot make LinkedIn a second job, and how you cannot make it overwhelming all the time. It's really about, identifying those areas where you feel like, okay, I this time I can sit and I can like start commenting, or like another time this other time I'm gonna block it for my writing, and always try to be generating ideas and all of these things. So it's a lot about finding what works for us. If you're only dealing with LinkedIn, it's gonna be more easier. I see some people are dealing with various platforms in there. I think you have to really find a way that you can deal with all of these other platforms, because there's TikTok, there's Instagram and everything. So TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, sometimes like a lot of people like repurpose contents over there. Really find what works for you and see how many things you're doing, because if you're doing a lot of social media, you definitely have to, sit down and see like, okay, how much time am I going to spend here, how much time am I going to spend there, and like do your research on what is you're capable of doing. And if you're handling other clients, that's another thing. Like, see what you're capable of doing, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure you're taking care of yourself, because then that is where burnout or like everything starts coming in again.
That's right. If LinkedIn feels like a second job, it means that you're not enjoying yourself, right?
Hmm.
It means that you're not having fun, you don't like it, and you have to shake things up. Maybe you're posting too much. Maybe you're posting in the morning because you think you need to post in the morning, but you're happier in the afternoon. Maybe you want to do polls that are easier. Maybe you want to do carousels. You want it to be a little bit more designing. Maybe you want to do videos, but it can't be a should. It can't be something that you have to do. And because if it does become something you have to do, then you will not do it. Won't do it.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. So look, this half an hour goes quick. So is there anything, Helen, would you like to say before we wrap up?
I think just try to, find what works for you, as I was saying, and like if LinkedIn feels like a lot, or you're, as Deborah said, starting to feel like a second job, take a week off, like try to reevaluate the things. I like to do that a lot. When it's starting to feel overwhelming, I like to like maybe take 1 to 3 days off, and I reevaluate things. Why am I feeling this? What can I do better? How can I, go back to feeling like it's feeling good? So listen to yourself a lot. With platforms like LinkedIn, I think sometimes, or with social media in general, I have to say this, with social media in general, because people feel this with LinkedIn, with TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, with everything. Every time it gets overwhelming, don't panic. Just take like some time off if you need it, 1 week, 3 days, whatever works for you. Calm yourself down, like reevaluate what you want to do. Maybe you want to post less, maybe you want to focus on one social media platform more than the other one. Just listen to yourself, and that way you don't feel like, I'm gonna leave everything, I cannot do it anymore. Remember that you have built a personal brand out there, and like stick to it. Like you're building something, so that's what's important, that you keep going, and like if there's time to reevaluate things, just do it. There's nothing wrong with that. People are changing all the time. Like we can do it.
That's right. Okay. All right. So we had some commenters today, people who engaged with us, and I just want to give a shout out to Paul, give a shout out to Monica, and give a shout out to Leanne. We love you. We're so happy
Yeah.
you're here with us today. So thank you. All right. So this is Helen and I. We want to thank you for attending or listening to the replay of this session. We so appreciate you being here. You could have chose to do anything with your time. You chose to spend it with us. So have a amazing, wonderful day.
Thank you so much.